I spent my entire college career working so hard to make sure that I got excellent grades so that I could apply to grad school. I spent every weekend the summer and fall of 2017 studying for the GRE. I spent every weekend in the spring of 2018 flying across the country to interview at different schools. And I finally got into what I thought was my dream school, my dream program at a cancer research hospital. I started that program in the summer of 2018, and I left that program in the summer of 2020. I've been wanting to share about my experience with quitting my PhD for a while now, but I've really gone back and forth about what exactly should be shared, what's valuable, what's just complaining, what exactly would help people to know. I was doing my PhD in biological sciences. I was specifically interested in cancer research, and my thesis was focused on breast cancer. On paper, it seemed like it was the dream situation. Everything that I had dreamed about my PhD program being in undergrad, this situation should have been it. But when I actually got there were problems. I don't know how much I want to go into what those problems were, but in the spring of 2020, regardless of the rest of the world, like what was going on at that time, I decided to leave my PhD program. This was not an easy decision. It was something that I consulted many people about. I was on the fence of whether or not I should just try to transfer somewhere else or just reapply to other programs, but ultimately I decided it was best for me to leave my PhD behind and, for the time being, leave academia altogether. I already had a job offer secured, so it wasn't like I was leaving and then, was immediately on the job hunt. I was going towards something better, so that really helped. What I think will be the most helpful for people who clicked on this video who are wondering whether or not they should leave their own PhD is to tell you how my life has gone so far after quitting my PhD. And in summary, it's been great. Listen, there are ups and downs to life, but I don't regret my decision. My life has greatly improved since leaving my PhD. First of all, I make a living wage now. When I was doing my PhD, I was making something like $32,000 a year, and I was living in one of the biggest cities in the country. It was not cheap. I was not doing well financially. 401k, who is she? I was not saving anything. I didn't even begin to think about retirement. It was just, there was no savings. I was barely scraping by, and we were not authorized to work other places while we were doing the PhD, but I did. I worked other jobs. I worked at a rock climbing gym and I worked at a Pilates studio. So, I was doing so much trying to get by. As soon as I quit my PhD and started my new job, I just felt like this weight lifted and my world opened up. I bought new clothes for the first time in 2 years, and I traveled. I visited a bunch of my friends. I got a dog. I lived in a much nicer house. Things just immediately changed. Something that I was really worried about, though, leaving my PhD was the long-term regret. Am I going to regret leaving this opportunity in the long run? Am I going to have enough intellectual stimulation? Am I going to have the same type of drive to pursue something? Am I going to have the same type of welcome challenge in my life to go after something I really care about? Immediately after leaving my PhD, I didn't really care about that anymore. After about, a year, I did start to have a little bit of, okay, well, what am I working towards? My career is great and I'm liking this job, but what's the next step? Where am I moving to? Because when you're in a PhD, it seems like it's an exponential rate of growth. You're always learning so much and you're being pushed so much. to the point where you're getting yourself sick and exhausted and burnt out, but you are experiencing rapid growth. And when you're not in an environment like that, it's on you to make yourself grow. Like, it's on you to push yourself. And I wasn't doing that immediately after I left my PhD, which is a good thing. But about a year after I left, I needed to figure out what the next thing was going to be for me. Like, where am I going to channel my drive? Because the thing about people who do PhDs is that they're very driven. I'm a very driven person. I'm a hard worker. And if I care about something, if I'm passionate about something, I'm going to put all of my heart, all of my work into that and try my best to make it the best possible thing it could be. And I was doing that in my job, but my job was a 9 to 5. And after 5 p.m., like, you sign off and you're done. You don't have to do any homework. You don't have to do any more research. Like, you're done. There was an essential level of rest that I needed to get to this point of like building up my drive, my desire for drive. And it took about a year to get there. So about a year after I quit my PhD, I started fostering dogs. And I had been thinking about this for a long time. I adopted my dog like while I was quitting. I hadn't even quit my PhD officially yet when I adopted my dog. I had been dreaming about fostering dogs for the longest time, and I always said, like, my dream job would just be something where it allows me to work but still take care of a bunch of dogs and like foster and take care of rescues and work towards the cause of keeping dogs out of kill shelters. That's something that I care about so much. So a year after I quit my PhD, I started fostering dogs. And that went great. I've been doing it ever since, and it's been 5 years since I quit my PhD. So I've been doing it for the past 4 years. And from there, I started volunteering at an animal shelter in person, like cleaning and socializing animals. And about a year into volunteering at the animal shelter, I became an adoptions advocate. Like, my work towards this goal, helping save rescue animals, just like blossomed from there. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was in a PhD. Like, I didn't have the time of day for anything, let alone myself. Like, my own well-being got put on the back burner while I was in a PhD, so I wouldn't have been able to care for any other creature or like partner or anything while I was in a PhD. So 2 or 3 years after I left my PhD, I started my pet care business. It started casually in 2022 and more seriously in 2023. And that's been great. So I've been growing it and like working on it seriously for the past 2 years. And I'd love to grow it more. And I am growing it more. I'm actually releasing a video soon about my dreams for my pet care business. So look out for that. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the changes to come. And I've been able to do this because I've had so much more time and just so much more mental space because I'm not stressing out about this PhD program. And it wasn't even like I was stressing about cancer research. I was stressing about the problems with the program. So it was like fruitless stress for no reason, stress for the sake of stress. I feel like I've changed as a person so much since leaving my PhD. Like, I've become a much less anxious person. I'm more grounded. I'm able to enjoy things more. I'm not always rushing, trying to get things done. Like, I'm just able to be in the moment more, and I like myself more. I'm able to be creative. I'm able to work on things that they don't necessarily have to lead to anything. They're just like drawing a nice picture, or painting something for my fiance, or just going on a walk with my dog. I've also been able to live in an area that I love. I've moved back to be closer near my family, and I live in a safe area that's surrounded by beauty and nature and friends. And I'm just so happy with that, because I would have been stuck in that giant city for 6 years. And I actually got burglarized while I was doing my PhD living in this major city, and That was one of many contributing factors to me wanting to leave. But I just did not feel safe where I was living, and being able to live in a peaceful, quiet, safe neighborhood, I just can't even tell you. It's just priceless. Like, I am so appreciative that I'm able to do this. People sometimes ask me, do you feel like it was a waste of time? And I don't think it was a waste of time, and I'm glad that I tried. I'm glad that I put myself out there and challenged myself in undergrad and worked so hard, because I did learn so much. And even though my program was deeply flawed, I learned a lot about biology, cancer, myself. I feel like I'm a much more scientifically literate person, and I did leave with a master's degree. So it's not like I wasted 2 years and have nothing to show for it, but to be honest, I think I would have left even if I didn't get a master's degree out of it. I'll also say I didn't pay for the PhD. They paid me a very, very small stipend. Like I said before, it was like $32,000 a year. But it's not like I invested all of this money and I'm not going to get anything out of it. So in that way, it's like, I think that helps me to not feel regret, because I put in the work to get a master's and I got a master's degree, and that is something to be proud of. I also don't want this video to try to convince people to not do a PhD, or to convince someone who like is having a good time in their PhD to leave. I would just say be very careful about what school you choose, what program you choose. Have realistic expectations about, is this really something you want to do with your life? Because you will be giving up a lot. You're going to be giving up 6 years of your young working days, not saving for retirement. If you save for retirement with a PhD stipend, I'm so impressed with you, but I wasn't able to do it. You're going to be giving up years of just saving for yourself. You're probably going to delay buying a house. You might have to delay starting a family. It might be hard to date. It might be hard to maintain friendships. There's just a lot that you have to consider when starting a PhD. And I would also say there are a lot of fields where people feel like they have to get a PhD if they're going to get any kind of good paying job. And I would just challenge you to think outside of the box, because that's what I thought. I thought there's no way I'm going to get any kind of good job, well paying job with a biology undergraduate degree. I just want people to consider that there's different types of like currency in life. There is financial currency for sure. And doing a PhD may or may not get you into a high paying job. It's not a guarantee, but there is also like social emotional currency, happiness currency, like being able to experience things in life that bring you happiness, like your friendships, your relationships, travel, things that take time and money, and it will be time and money that you might not be able to have if you're doing a PhD program. And if that sounds great to you and you're so motivated by the cause or your topic of research, I'm like, go for it, all for it. We need people like you in this world. But if you are at a place where you're like, I don't know if I can do this, like I'm missing out on so much and I'm just struggling with my school, like the way I'm being treated, things are going wrong in the program, it's okay to quit, and you will be okay. You will come out on the other side okay. Because you're the kind of person who pursued a PhD in the first place, this means you're a very driven person. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't underestimate what you could do with your drive. It doesn't have to be a PhD. It could be starting your own business. It could be starting something creative. It could be volunteering. I mean, there's so many ways that we can change the world that aren't just academic research. There's so many other things that we need driven people in, and a PhD might not be the place for you to do that. So really just consider that. I'd love to hear in the comments whether or not you quit your PhD, what happened after, are you considering quitting a PhD, why? I will definitely be checking the comments and responding, so I can't wait to talk about this with you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope you have the best day. Bye!